The Wolves stunned the Denver Nuggets after giving up 3 consecutive losses in the middle part. They came out with a resounding punch in Game 6, beating the Nuggets by 45 points, setting up an epic Game 7 on Sunday night. I thought with the momentum that the Wolves were bringing, that definitely lifts their spirits, because the Nuggets were just dismantling them at home. Both games were won quite comfortably, and it just brought momentum, gave them hope, gave them life. And especially after Game 5, I thought that the Nuggets were just in firm control and they would close this out in 6. Well, I was wrong. While the Nuggets have struggled on the road, going back to home court in Denver, they have the altitude, they're familiar, and they had a little bit more time to rest. I thought that it should be advantage Nuggets, and it looked like that. First half, Jamal Murray is cooking. He is making threes, he's catching and shooting, he's making shots off of pin down screens. Nikola Jokic is kind of letting the game get to him, but he's being very efficient as well. And they race out to a 20-point lead in that third quarter. Well, that evaporated by midway through the quarter, and then almost next to nothing heading into the fourth. Big time shout out to the defensive play from Anthony Edwards. He set the tone in the second half. Not the best game offensively you'll see if you're just looking at the box score. 6 out of 24, paltry efficiency, we get it. But the defensive impact was there. He was playing the lane, and I thought that he was disruptive, getting into the passing lanes, but also just finding open shooters. He was kind of a shot creator in this Game 7. He found Jaden McDaniels wide open. I thought Jaden was excellent. He made so many corner threes, just burned them time in and time out with 23 points. Mike Conley was timely as well. He made some off the dribble threes, and he was greatly missed in Game 5 but returned for Games 6 and 7. Cat set the tone as well. He was very good on the offensive glass and playing timely defense when being rotated on, and actually seemed to be the better matchup between him and Gobert on Nikola Jokic. They just kind of chipped away at it, and then the fourth quarter was very back and forth, but the Nuggets just didn't seem to have it. They ran out of gas, and Anthony Edwards just really put, and by his words, he put Jamal Murray in jail. After scoring 24 points, he only had 12 in the second half. I thought that he just didn't seem to have it, and the size factor, the strength factor just bothered him. We can talk about the injury, whatever. He was playing, he looked fine for the first half. I don't think this magic injury, that either the elbow, the calf, whatever happened in this postseason, when we can't just simply blame it on the injuries. We have to give credit to the Minnesota Timberwolves. We saw that when that turnaround jump shot from Rudy Gobert, on all people, it just felt like that is the Wolves' night, that they're going to get this done. They're going to see this through the finish line. Like I said before, the Nuggets have an issue with depth. I looked a little stupid for those middle 3 games, but that came back again at the worst possible time for these Nuggets. Outside of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, the Nuggets got little to no production. Aaron Gordon was a no-show. He was completely shut down in the dunker spot, and they just deterred that Nikola Jokic to Aaron Gordon lob threat that was there. He didn't get after it on the offensive glass. Michael Porter Jr. was cold. He's been ice cold for the last 3-4 games. 3 of 12 in Game 7. KCP, he's already done pretty good defense, but he just is not there in Game 7. 2 out of 7. And the bench, it was just Christian Brown with 5 points. That was it. They really miss Bruce Brown, or a guy like Bruce Brown, in this type of series. I understand you let him walk because he's just priced out of your pay range, but just banking in on Peyton Watson to take his place and slide in there, being the next young piece, doing it on a budget, shows that they just got burned in that aspect there. They just could not find ways, because he didn't even see the floor in the last 2 games. 0 minutes logged for Peyton Watson. And what further got exposed for the Nuggets is that they don't really have guys outside of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic that can beat guys off the dribble. They're big catch and shoot guys off the 2-man game, and just sucking in a lot of bodies into the paint, or just to Murray and Jokic, but those other 3 guys are usually left fairly wide open. They were given opportunities and they just chased them off the line, and they just could not make jump shots. They could not attack defenders. And again, that just comes down to the stellar defense, because after scoring 58 points, they only scored 32 in a quarter and a half. It was completely shut down in the second half. The Nuggets absolutely need to make some adjustments this offseason. I think they tried to get away with a very thin roster. They just maybe need somebody off their bench to either ascend, maybe Peyton Watson take the next step, or they find an actual veteran. Certainly missed a Bruce Brown type of component there, but they'll find somebody else. I'm sure a lot of players that want to play for this Nuggets team, absolutely. But the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to the conference finals for the first time in 20 years. I thought about how they got here, this tenacious defense. They have this rising superstar, maybe future face of the league, a guy that really fits the mold, and maybe he's just not there yet. He's only 22, but I mean, this kid is phenomenal. He's playing with such ferocity and making impact when his offensive game isn't going. He saw it in the Phoenix series. When his shot isn't going, he still makes impacts. His fingerprints are all over that game, and it doesn't really show up in the box score. So credit to Chris Finch and his amazing staff. They figured something out, and now the Minnesota Timberwolves are advancing to the conference finals for the first time in 20 years.